it's Joe. Welcome back to the Cat Scrappiness YouTube channel. Today's project, I'll be using the following items: the A2 acetate sheets, and then the stamp set I'll be using is Stuart the Sloth, and mainly I'll be using that sloth image with the coffee cup. And then I have the embossed edge circle dies. I'm mainly using it to make a frame and a circle, and then the brand new release coffee background die, and also the clear mirrored confetti dots, and then the coffee beans. This is a large pack. We also carry it in the small pack. So let's get started. So here is the coffee background die, all cut out and punched out. This I used on craft cardstock. So now I'm going to use walnut stain in the Distress Oxide ink, and I'll be just inking all the edges on that die cut there. And then, as you can see, you can also use this as a stencil. You see I lift up the die cut, and then you can see it's making the coffee bean impressions. So those little coffee bean die cuts, I did not throw those away. I did save it, and I'll probably try to use it on another project. So that is the coffee background die all inked up. So now I'm going to get the embossed edge circle dies, and here I made a frame out of red cardstock using the largest and then the second die down, and then I put that second die in the middle off-centered so it can kind of mimic like a top view, a bird's eye view of the coffee cup. So here I just went ahead and colored the sloth off camera as well as a few leaves, and then there is the sentiment using feeling slothy, need coffee on a fishtail banner. So here I am putting the red circle frame where I want it to go, and then I took that inner circle die and I placed it right in the center there, and then I'm running it through my cutting machine, and then I'm going to go ahead and ink that up. So I go ahead and carefully peel off that die, and then you see that the red circle lines up perfectly. So here is that inner part of that die cut, and then I go ahead and take the walnut stain Distress Oxide ink, and I make sure I get a good layer of ink on top of that circle die cut. And then I really want it to look like coffee, so that's why I'm heavily coating it with that ink. And then I go ahead and just gently go over those coffee beans because they are a little bit fragile, because I am really rubbing that ink in there. And so here I put it up against the original die cut, and it's a little bit still too light for me, so I go ahead and get walnut stain, but it is the regular Distress ink. So here you can see that it's a much darker color, and that is actually the look that I'm going for. So again, I'm just going over that die cut, making sure that it is heavily inked up with that walnut stain. So I like that nice contrast between the craft cardstock, the lighter version, and then the darker cardstock in the center. So here is some liquid glue, and then I go ahead and place it on the outside of that die cut, and then just trying to get all the little spaces in between those coffee beans and then that outline of that coffee cup. And then I place it on my card base, and that is an A2 card base, and that measures 5.5 by 4.25. So now I go ahead and take that inner die cut. Again, I'm using some liquid adhesive, and I'm just making sure that I'm getting all the cardstock and making sure that I get the edges. So at first I didn't care if it lined up, but I go ahead and lined up that die cut back to where I previously cut it from, and then just making sure that it's nice and flat. So that is the circle frame that I'm going to make my shaker window out of. And then here's some purple removable tape that I just want to make sure that the card base is nice and flat. So here I'm taking some foam adhesive tape and I'm going around the whole circle frame there. That foam tape measures a 1/4 inch wide, and then the thickness is, I believe it's 1/8 of an inch. So since I off-centered that frame there, I am cutting that foam adhesive tape in half, just because the part of the strip on that circle is a little bit thinner, so I want to make sure none of that foam tape sticks out when you look at the front of the window. So that is the window frame completed with the foam tape, and then I go ahead and start to fill in the shaker bits. So here is the clear mirrored confetti dots, and I just wanted a little bit of sparkle, so I went ahead and added those. And then here is the coffee beans. Now you have to be aware that these coffee beans are quite large, so they're not your typical shaker bits where they fit perfectly in your shaker wells. They are large again, so they do need a thicker or a higher shaker well. So the 1/8 inch is a little bit tight, so you can see when I move the card around, those coffee beans are not moving, which is completely fine because it's nice and evenly spread out, but you just be aware they are a little bit bigger. So if you do want to move them around in the shaker well, you have to make your foam tape a little bit thicker. So anyway, so I go ahead and seal that up, making sure I press down on all the edges so none of those sequins or the coffee beans fall out. So that is the sentiment, feeling slothy, need coffee. I put some foam adhesive tape on that, as well as the sloth image, so that it's nice and even with that coffee rim die cut. So I go ahead and place that on the card, and then now I get those colored leaves, and I start just filling in those spaces that need to be filled up, like behind his head, so I can cover a portion of that sentiment banner there. And then I go ahead and place one next to his feet, and then lastly one more just right next to the coffee cup, so it looks a little bit more full. So that is the completed coffee card. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you're also enjoying the new released items that Cat Scrappiness has come out with. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.